Welcome to our webinar titled De-Stressing for the Holidays, a yoga session with Jenny Finkel. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Lee Clark, patient educator, and I will be moderating the presentation today. As we get started, I'd like to recognize the generous support of our corporate sponsors, as well as the generous support of our patients, families, and caregivers for supporting the webinar program today. Due to the high volume of teleconferences on the internet, it is possible you may lose your connection during the program. If you're unable to view the webinar online, you can call in to hear the audio portion of the program using the call-in number in your reminder email. Today's program will be archived to our website within 2 to 3 business days. You will be notified by email when it is live and ready for viewing. During the presentation, should you have any questions or comments, please feel free to submit those at any time during the presentation using the small text box window in the lower part of your screen. If there are any questions, Jenny will be happy to answer those at the end of our session. When asking questions, please do 2 things to help me manage the incoming questions. Submit your entire question all at the same time. Please do not share any private health information in your question. Our speaker cannot answer any specific questions related to your health care. Today's specialist is Jenny Finkel, who established a passion for yoga starting in the 7th grade. She obtained a 200-hour certificate from Yoga Works and also went on to receive specialized training with Yoga for Awareness for Cancer. This was a specialized training from Duke Integrative Medicine in Durham, North Carolina. With that said, thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And thank you for that introduction. Again, my name is Jenny. I will just say I do have a small dog. She looks like, if you see a little lint monster sort of wander across the screen, that's Clementine. Just a heads up about that. I'm really excited to be here with you today, and our topic is yoga and exercise to de-stress for the holidays. There's a lot we can say about that. This has obviously been a pretty stressful year all the way around, and we're moving into what is usually the busiest season of the year. And I'm sure for a lot of us, our plans have really changed from what we normally would do on the holidays, spending it with our families, lots of parties and socializing. So there's a lot to kind of reconcile about that. So let's talk a little bit about exercise and yoga as a de-stressor. I'm really happy to hear this couching of yoga as a means of de-stressing. I think that's really important. And that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about is that yoga is a method of self-care. Exercise is a method of self-care. Exercise should feel like a celebration of your body, not a punishment for your body. And I get so sad this time of year, but all the time, I don't want you to think of exercise as a punishment for a piece of pie that you ate on Thanksgiving Day. I hate it. It makes me so sad when I hear people say, oh, I was so bad yesterday. I was so bad. I ate French fries. I'm bad. That happens a lot during the holidays when we have a lot of access to food and meals and celebrations. And I kind of want to try to coax you out of that mindset. Whatever you ate or drank is not a reflection of your character. You're a person. That French fry, that pie is not the boss of you. So get out of that mindset of punishing yourself for something that you ate or something that you did first and foremost. Because the more you associate exercise with punishment, first of all, it's just bad for your morale. That just hurts when you talk badly to yourself. But also that makes exercise a source of stress, right? If you're punishing yourself for some perceived misbehavior because you ate food that tasted delicious, then exercise is not going to seem like something fun and comforting and releasing of stress. So that's my first tip. Get that out of your head. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, and I talked about this the last time, 2 more things I'll mention. Talked about this the last time I did a presentation with AMDS. It's what I call the puppy principle. If my dog wanted to make an appearance now, that would be perfect timing, but she probably won't. So when we are stressed out, one of the things that we tend to notice is your sleep cycle gets disrupted, and it's a cyclical situation. So I call this the puppy principle, because puppies know, if you've ever had a dog or a puppy, you know that they have those crazy bursts of energy where they run around the house and they're jumping up on the furniture and they're just zipping back and forth. I believe we used to call that the zoomies, but now that we are in an era of everybody being on Zoom all the time, maybe we need to find a different name for that, because we're all kind of zoomies right now. But the reason dogs do that is because dogs know intuitively when they haven't expended all of their energy for the day. They know when they have pent up energy, they need to find a way to release it. And that's why dogs exercise, they run around, and then they sleep. Human beings, we're a little more cerebral than that, and we can sort of talk ourselves out of anything. So, and especially when we're all, most of us, many of us are on a kind of a stay-at-home order, there's less out and about, we're expending less energy. We just are. So when you go to bed at night, maybe you don't sleep as well, you feel kind of restless, you toss and turn, you don't get a great night's sleep. Then the next day, you feel tired, you feel sluggish, you're not in the mood to exercise because you didn't sleep well, and the cycle just repeats itself. You're not running your little motor out, so you're not sleeping well, so then you're tired the next day, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. So be like a puppy. Everything we learned from our pets, right? You gotta find a way to burn your little motor out, burn some of that energy off. And it's similar to that, because we are on these stay-at-home orders, and I want to just sort of acknowledge that. I want to give you all permission to be kind to yourselves and patient with yourselves, because even if you've been doing 3 Zoom workouts a day, if you've been taking online yoga classes or exercise classes, working out on Instagram Live with your favorite celebrities, even if you've made a really conscious, focused effort to stay connected to an exercise routine, that's wonderful. But our lives are different now. We are not out in the world the way that we used to be. We're not necessarily commuting to work. You're not in an office building where you're getting up and walking down the hall to go speak to your colleagues or go to the restroom or go to the water cooler. And that sort of low intensity, sustained activity really does have a big impact on your general picture of health and fitness. So even if you're working out daily or several times a day, all those in between times, you finish your workout and then you go to the refrigerator and you sit back down on your sofa, you're lacking that kind of sustained energetic output that we have in our normal pre-COVID lives. So you might notice when you pick up a dumbbell, you pick up a 10-pound dumbbell, and then you think, why does this 10-pound dumbbell weigh 100 pounds? You might feel like you have less energy, less stamina, less coordination, and it might surprise you that you feel maybe not as strong as you think that you should feel or as you were used to feeling. So I want to reiterate, be patient to yourself, be kind to yourself. This has been a tough year. This year has been mean to all of us. So be nice to yourself, make up for some of that meanness of 2020 and be nice to yourself. I hope that you will take that to heart. Okay, so I'm going to talk through our program a little bit. I want to sort of give you some tools. I'm going to tell you how I design a class or yoga practice, just so that you can kind of know my mindset, and maybe you can kind of take those tools with you and use them whenever you want to stand up from your desk and take a little stretch break, or you want to kind of get up and move around a little bit, but you're not really sure what to do. So here are some things that I like to weave in. So in any exercise, whether you're taking a class or you're doing a 5-minute exercise break or you're just getting up to stretch, you always want to think about the movements of the spine, right? Our spine can move in all directions. So we have forward folds, we have back bends, we can twist right, twist left, and we can side bend right, side bend left. So anytime you get up for a little stretch break or even sitting down, not even getting out of your chair, try to incorporate all of those movements. How can you incorporate a forward fold, a back bend, twist, twist, side, side? So that's the first thing. And sort of related to that, your shoulders and hips, especially hips, these are ball and socket joints, right? So they also have many different directions of movement. And in a perfect world, after we've thought about how can I move my spine in every direction, it's also nice to think about how can I move my hips all the way through their range of motion and my shoulders as well. So that's kind of first and foremost. There's your 200-hour yoga teacher training in 3 minutes. Move the spine in every direction, every time. It's nice if you're able to incorporate a balance element into every little exercise or stretch break that you do. Standing on one foot is great, or anything that you feel kind of challenges your stability, your balance. Prioritize, when possible, core strength and glute strength. Strong glutes are, or weak glutes, I should say, are related to a lot of low back pain, even knee pain. Strengthening your glutes and your core will go a long way to remedying other aches and pains, creaks and cracks that you might be feeling in your body. So core and glute strength. And then the last thing that I always want you to kind of think about is what I call postural reconciliation. That's a fancy term that I think I made up. That basically just means whatever you usually do, whatever your daily habits are, when you stretch or when you exercise, try to do the opposite of that. I think that's particularly important now if you've been working from home since March and your work from home setup is that you're a tiny little ball on your sofa sinking ever deeper into the sofa cushions with your laptop teetering on your knees, right? And you're spending 8 hours a day in this position, then we need to open you up, right? We need to reverse that. Similarly, if you're a spin enthusiast, if you have a spin bike at home, or if you go biking out in the world, if you take spin classes, if you're rounding over the handlebars, we need to reverse that. If you're a runner or a power walker and your legs are kind of always moving in the same direction, we need to move your legs in some other directions. So just think about, what are the things that I'm doing all day when I'm not exercising? What are the other forms of exercise that I enjoy? Running, cycling, walking, swimming, shoulders doing this a lot. How can I do the opposite of that? All right, I think that's the TED Talk portion of my session today. So our session, I've kind of broken into 3 different sections. I have a chair-based section, so we'll start sitting down at a chair. Easy, if you're sitting at your desk right now, then you don't have to go anywhere. So our first set we're gonna do here, then we're gonna stand up and, well, I'm gonna stand up and do a standing section, and then we're gonna come all the way down to the mat. So basically, we're going to be doing very largely the same movements in all 3. So I kind of just want you to see how you can get a little stretch, a little yoga session without ever leaving your chair, how you can do those same basic movements when you get up out of your chair, and how you can apply those same movement principles when you actually get down on the mat. So depending on where you are right now, if you don't really feel like you're in a situation where you can get up and start rolling around on the floor, then you'll basically just do the chair section all 3 times. I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's start sitting up nice and tall in your chair. In a perfect setting, your hips and your knees will be right about at the same level. So knees in line with hips, and then hips, knees, and ankles all aligned. So knees and heels hip width apart. Sit up nice and tall. You can rest your hands on your thighs. Close your eyes just for a second. And without judging or without trying to fix or correct anything, with your eyes closed, take a moment just to connect to your breath. Deepen your inhales and exhales. In yoga, of course, breath really is the heart of the practice. That really is the anchor. And we can talk a little bit more about that at the end. But start here just by deepening your inhales and exhales. How does that feel? How does the air feel as it's moving in and out of your lungs? And then do a quick body scan from head to toe, top to bottom, bottom to top. Notice how you are feeling today, what you are feeling today, where you are feeling today. And together, let's take a deep, full breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale. 2 more times. Deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. One more deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Good. Softly let your eyes open. Roll the shoulders back, and let's just start by taking a deep breath in. Reach up, interlace your fingers, flip your palms up to the ceiling. Press your palms up, grow tall through both sides of the waist. Stay anchored through your pelvis, through your sits bones, and maybe take a little back bend here. Big inhale. As you exhale, flip your knuckles towards me, round the spine. So reaching your knuckles towards me, pulling your navel back to your spine. So this is our forward fold. Flip the palms forward, inhale, lift up, arch back. This is our back bend. So right away, pretty simple. We've done 2 of our 6 spinal movements. Exhale, round forward. Inhale, arch back. We'll call this a seated cat-cow. Let's do it 3 more times. Exhale, inhale. 2 more times. Exhale, inhale. And 1 more. Exhale, palms towards you, and then flip the palms towards me. Palms up to the ceiling, reach up, and then release your arms. You can roll out the shoulders, perfect. So maybe, hopefully, just that simple, connecting breath to movement. Maybe you're already feeling taller, lighter. Stack your forearms, one on top of the other. By the way, sometimes I try to mirror. I'm not going to do that today because my brain sometimes just can't keep track. So this is my right. If this looks like your left, if it's easier to follow what it looks like I'm doing, go with that. If you follow instructions pretty well and you know you're right from left, then you can do as I say or do as it looks like I'm doing. So I'll call this my right today. Stack your forearms, sit up as tall as you can, keep your feet planted, keep your hips square, knees level, and twisting just from the navel up. Inhale here. As you exhale, take a little twist to the right. Hips stay right where they are. You're displacing your shoulders from alignment with your hips. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Trying to keep your feet planted. Inhale. Exhale, twist. So it's just your spine that's moving. Neck stays long. Inhale. Exhale, twist left. Let's go each side 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, 1 more time each way. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. Good, release. So the reason we did that first twist with your arms up like this is to allow just your core strength, just your internal mechanisms to do that first round of twist. So you're not grabbing anything and cranking yourself into a deeper position before you're a little bit warmed up. So just internal mechanisms for what I call the I Dream of Jeannie twist with your I Dream of Jeannie arms. All right, so now that we've done our cat-cow, forward bend, back bend, and we've done our I Dream of Jeannie twist, so we've twisted right, left, let's do a little side bend. I like to start by taking my left hand and I grab right underneath the seat that I'm sitting on. Sit up tall, lengthen the spine as much as you can. Keep hold of the bottom of your chair with your left hand, and then you're just gonna lean to the right. You can rest your right hand on your lap. You can let your right arm kind of hang. You can let your right ear dip over towards your right shoulder. Try to stay anchored through that left hip. Your left hand is kind of there to help you for support. And then come back up to center. Hold on under the chair with your right hand, sit up tall, inhale. Exhale, lean over to the left. So again, you're putting the brakes on here, using that hand, which will actually give you a little bit more of a shoulder stretch here, but it'll sort of keep you from going further than you're ready to go. Let's do each side 1 more time. Sit up nice and tall in the center. Hold on under the chair with that left hand, sit up tall, lean over, tip over to the right. And this time, if you feel like you need a little bit more stretch in your neck and shoulder, you can go right ear to right shoulder. Maybe you turn your chin towards your right shoulder. Maybe you dip your chin down towards your collarbone. You might find one of those 3 variations that you sort of want to hang out and breathe into, linger. Or you might feel like you want to kind of roll your head around through those various positions. Take a little moment of exploration here. See how it's feeling. Notice what you discover. And then help yourself back up. Roll the shoulders back, reset. Let's try the other side. Right hand, hold on under the chair, sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, lean over to the left. Stay anchored through that right sit bone, so you're not unilaterally just spilling over. Start with ear to shoulder, and then maybe chin to shoulder, maybe chin to collarbone. You might linger in one of those spots if you feel like you sort of get into a stretch that you're enjoying, or you might explore a little bit. And stay here for about 3 more breaths. Nice work, team. Good. Help yourself back up to center. Roll the shoulders out. So already we've done our forward bend, back bend, side, side, twist, twist. So we've moved through those 6 directions of movement in the spine already, but now we'll sort of add on a little bit. So we're a little warmed up now. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Grow up as tall as you can. So root down through your pelvis, through your butt. Clasp opposite elbows. And now we have an opportunity to maybe take a slightly bigger back bend and side bend. So with the forearms crossed, elbows up, clasping opposite elbows, sit up nice and tall. Maybe just press your forearms back. So I'm just pressing my forearms towards the back of the room a little bit. So a little shoulder opener here. Again, whether you're in a work from home situation or not, if you spend most of your time sitting at a desk, your shoulders might be kind of prone to round forward. And then take your forearms directly up over your head, press them up towards the ceiling, anchor down through your left buttock as you side bend up and over to the right. So again, I don't want to just like fall over to the right here. Anchor down, distribute your weight through both sides of your glutes. Inhale, come back up to center, forearms up to the ceiling, anchor through your right butt, side bend over to the left. So creating a little bit more lift through the spine. Let's do each side one more time. Sitting up tall as you anchor down through your glutes, side bend to the right. Inhale, lift, and side bend to the left. Inhale, lift up, unfold your arms, reach up. Exhale, release your arms down. Beautiful work. So we've sort of gotten our shoulders and our spine warmed up. Let's focus a little bit on how we can maybe build a little heat, a little energy in your legs. So maybe you scooch forward a little bit towards the front of your chair. And again, feet parallel, heels, knees, hips aligned. Bring your hands together at your heart. So if you take yoga classes, you might be familiar with a pose called chair pose. While we're sitting in a chair, so we're kind of already in chair pose, right? But we're gonna do a little chair pose progression. First thing we'll do, and we'll do it 4 or 5 times, is press down into your feet and act as though you're about to stand up and then relax. So you're gonna stay connected to your chair for these first 4 or 5 reps. Almost stand up and then relax. So you're engaging your thighs, your glutes, your core as though you're about to stand up, and then you relax. Let's do it 3 more times. Exhale. I know it might feel a bit silly, but you should feel that you're kind of warming up the hips and thighs. Open the chest, press down to the feet, almost stand up, and then relax. Let's do 1 more time. Almost standing up, and then relax. Good. You can relax your arms. I like to have you have your hands at your hearts. Again, you could do I Dream of Jeannie arms if you prefer that, so that you're really just using your legs and your core and not hoisting yourself up, right? So hands to heart or I Dream of Jeannie arms. Let's progress this a little bit. Press down into your feet, keep the spine tall, chest open, hover your hips an inch off your chair, and then come back down. Let's try it again. Press down into your feet, lift just a couple of inches to a hover. So this looks a little bit more like a classic chair pose for my yogis. And again, 3 more times. Press down, lift the hips, release down. 2 more. We're going to hold the last one. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. Could have been a surprise. Let's hold this last one. Collarbones are wide. All 4 sides of the neck stay long. core is engaged. Press down into your feet. Hold here for a hover. Inhale, exhale. 3 more breaths. Inhale, exhale. That chair is right there if you need it, but let's try to keep holding. Inhale, exhale. 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Sit down, relax. Awesome. So maybe you're starting to feel a little bit more warm through the thighs. For our final little variation of these chair pose drills, let's stand all the way up without using your hands. Hands to your heart. I dream of genie arms, whatever works best for you. Press down into your feet. Stand all the way up. I just cut myself off at the head, but you get it. And then sit all the way down. See that? Inhale, exhale, stand up. Inhale, sit down. Let's do it a few more times. Stand all the way up. Feel the hip flexors come into extension here so the glutes engage a little bit, and sit down. Let's do 3 more. Stand all the way up. Sit all the way down. And 2 more. So your quads are getting warm. When the hip flexors are in extension, your glutes can engage, and sit down. I've lost count. Isn't that crazy? I think we have 2 more. Stand up. Come on down. And 1 more. Stand up. Come on down. Awesome. Relax your shoulders. Something that tends to happen if you're doing something effortful that involves core strength or leg strength, that stress can show up here in the neck, shoulders, jaw, forehead. So rechannel that energy. Your work isn't up here for now, it's down here. All right, now that your legs are a little more warmed up, let's try a Warrior 2 series, a seated Warrior 2 series. So I'm gonna scooch over towards the left side of my chair and extend my left leg out to the left. So I have this mat here, which gives me kind of a good little measure that my left foot is pretty much staying parallel to that left edge of the mat. And then I'm gonna swing my right leg out to the side. So if you have an arm on your chair, or everybody's kind of setup is a little bit different, adjust yourself. But basically the full length of my right thigh is supported by the chair. My left leg is extended off to the side. Open the chest, sit up tall. Right toes, I don't know if you can see my foot behind my block, I've hidden it from you. My right foot is parallel to the long edges of the mat. So all 5 right toes are pointing straight out to the right. Open the chest, anchor through the pelvis so the hips are level, reach your arms long. Let's hold here. Nice Warrior 2 with support from the chair. If you take your arms out to the side, but you feel like this is happening, your shoulders are rounding up, flip your palms up to the ceiling and bend your elbows a little bit. Notice the difference. So our classic Warrior 2 is palms down, arms straight. But if you feel like that's, again, transferring tension or effort somewhere where you don't really need it to be, palms up, elbows bend. Activate. So once you're in the position, we're here for a few breaths, so you can sort of refine once you're in it. Can you activate your outer right glutes and use that to open your right knee out to the right a little bit more? So I know I'm just sitting on this chair, but I feel like I'm working. This feels like work to me. Take your left hand to your left hip. You're gonna stay on your chair, but inhale, reach your right arm up and back for a reverse warrior. Deep breath in. Exhale, bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Sweep your left arm up over your extended side angle. Let's flow through that a couple of times. Inhale, reach up and back, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Let's do 2 more. Inhale. So the chair is supporting you, but you're really anchoring through both feet as well. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then inhale, come back to your Warrior 2 and release. Roll your shoulders out. If you put your hands on your shoulders, they might feel warm. You can feel literal heat there. That means that they were working. You just did some work. So that's awesome. I like that instant gratification. You feel that increased blood flow to the muscles that were just working. All right, let's try it on the other side. So I'm scooching over to the right. However you want to maneuver your way into this, and I know, if you have a different kind of chair, you sort of just have to do the best you can. But take your right leg out to the right. My right toes are basically aimed forward towards the camera, towards the computer. And then my left hip opens. So my left toes are aimed out towards the short edge of my mat. You can shift in either direction, to the right or to the left, so that you feel that you have that nice support. Activate your left glutes to open that knee back towards, in my case, the windows behind me. Sometimes a way that you can sort of connect to that is to press this left pinky toe down. So I'm not letting the knee roll forward. I'm lifting the inner arch of my foot and pressing back. Inhale, arms long. We have a few breaths here. Spine is tall, shoulders are open. Spine is neutral. So you don't have to be in a big back bend here. And hopefully you're not rounding forward too much either. It's just your perfect tall, upright posture. And again, palms up, elbows slightly bent if you feel locked up in the neck and shoulders. I'm gonna reach my arms long. Let's take 2 more breaths right here in our standard warrior 2. Good. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Good. Right hand to right hip. We'll do our little warrior flow. Inhale, left arm up and back, reverse warrior. Exhale, left forearm, left thigh, right arm. Create some nice, long, strong diagonal line from my right fingertips to my left, right pinky toe. Inhale, circle back, reverse warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, side angle. Good. Let's do 2 more on the breath. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, up and over. Good. And 1 more. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, up and over. Use your next inhale to bring you back up to your classic warrior 2. Ears, shoulders, hips stacked. Reach long through the arms. Big inhale. Exhale, release all the way down. And again, your shoulders might feel pretty warm. Your glutes are probably feeling pretty warm as well, though you may not be able to access that quite as well. All right, so warrior 2 is a big open hipped pose. You don't have to come back into it again. I just kind of want to show you that your front leg, your working leg, is externally rotated. So that sort of sets up the difference between your warrior 2 series and your parallel lunge series. In a parallel lunge, your hips, your legs stay parallel. So I'm gonna turn side saddle to the right. So both knees are aimed to the right. I can use the back of my chair to help here, and I might scooch towards the front edge of my chair to find a lunge position. So now I'm gonna step my left foot back behind me. So again, similar to that warrior 2, the full length of my right thigh is connected to the chair, but now my left heel is lifted and I'm squaring that left hip forward. So you might start to feel a hip flexor stretch here. Hip flexors, you might hear, my tight hip flexors, a lot of people say that. They tend to tighten up in people who have desk jobs, people who drive a lot, people who run a lot. They get really short because usually your hip flexors are in flexion. So we want to extend those hip flexors to kind of reverse that. You can use your hand on the chair for support. You can sit up nice and tall. Just like we did when we did our chair pose series, maybe you experiment with coming up out of the chair and coming back down. Press down through the right heel. You can just hold the pose if that feels better to you, and lower down. Press up, lower down. Good, 1 more, press up, lower down. Good. So you're supported by the chair, but finds a sense of activation here. Remember, we talked about strong glutes, strong core. Right hand can come to right hip or maybe to the back of your chair. Take your left arm up, reach up to the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, nice side bend up and over to the right. Keep rolling that left hip forward as your left arm reaches up and over to the right. Inhale, come back up. Maybe you turn to face the back of your chair and you take a little twist in your lunge. Revolved crescent lunge. Always making your spinal alignment and your breath a priority. Good. Let's come back to center. Shake out your legs a little bit and we'll try it on the other side. So we'll turn side saddle to the left. Again, if you have to kind of maneuver yourself in your space, that's fine. Turning to the left, find your tall spine. Your left thigh is going to be supported by your chair. You're going to swing that right leg back behind you. Kick my little book out of the way. Square the hip forward. So my feet are parallel. Even though I've separated them, they're still parallel. My hips are parallel. Sit up nice and tall. Use the back of the chair to help you. Press that right heel back. If you've noticed that you're coming into a big back bend here, lift the hip bones up. That might mean that you have to bend that right knee a little bit. That's fine. I'd rather see a tall spine than a straight leg, always. I should get that trademarked somewhere. I would always rather see a straight spine than a straight leg. Tall spine, inhale. Maybe you reach your right arm up. Maybe you reach both arms up. Tall through the fingertips, maybe press your thumbs back a little bit so there's a little gentle back bend here. And then maybe left hand to the back of the chair or to your seat, right arm up and over, side bend. Inhale, reach back up. Exhale, gentle twist over that left leg towards the back of your chair. Even seated in the chair, this should probably feel fairly active. And then let's come back to center, pedal out the feet, shake out the legs. Awesome, I think we are right on schedule. My plan is working out perfectly. So we're back in a little seated position. We're gonna do 2 more poses here in our chairs. Then we're gonna kind of work through this same series standing up. So nice tall spine, your glutes just worked pretty hard, so let's stretch them. Left foot stays flat, right foot picks up and crosses over the left knee. We're gonna try to keep that left leg, hip, knee, ankle aligned. Your right foot is flexed to help keep this right knee stable. Sit up nice and tall. You can use your right hand here to sort of encourage that right knee down towards the level of the hip, but keep your spine tall. See if you feel a little stretch in your right hip. Maybe if you need a little bit more with a tall spine, hinge forward. Trying not to round your back to tip forward. You keep the spine long. You're just hinging from the hips. Good. Inhale, sit back up. Recross your legs, right foot down, left ankle up, left foot flex. That's going to protect your left knee. Align hip, knee, ankle, sit up tall. Quite often there's a disparity in strength and in flexibility from right side to left. So if it feels markedly different, that's fine. It's just information. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Stay upright if you're feeling a good stretch in that left glute. Otherwise, tip forward. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, uncross your legs, pedal at the feet. Perfect. We'll end with 1 more twist, and then we'll repeat this series standing. So now let's turn side saddle again. And we did something similar in our lunge series, but we'll try it here. And now that we're sort of more warmed up, sort of deeper into our practice, you might be able to access a deeper twist. Keep your sits bones anchored, press down, sit up tall, take a quarter turn to the right so you're framing the back of the chair with your 2 hands. Sit up nice and tall, inhale, keep your pelvis really grounded, and then now you can gently use the back of the chair to help you twist a little deeper, more deeply to the right. Spine is still tall, chest is still open, crown of the head to the ceiling, pelvis staying really grounded so you're not cranking your pelvis out of alignment. It stays where it is. You're twisting from the navel up. And then come back to center, release, relax, swivel all the way around, side saddle to the left. Sit up nice and tall, deep breath in, exhale, twist to the left. We always want to twist from a place of length, so you don't want to sort of hunch forward to get deeper into the twist. Sit up tall, even if that means you're not twisting quite as deeply. Oh, there she went. The guard dog, the lint monster. And come back to center. Perfect. Roll out the shoulders. Okay, moving on to our standing series. So you can stay
Jenny?
seated in your chair. Yes.
Sorry, we had one question. I didn't
Sure,
want
I
to
love
stop you
questions.
while you were in motion with the class, but we had a question and I thought maybe this be a good time to bring it
Totally.
up. So this comes from a patient that has had left shoulder surgery.
Mm.
During the shoulder surgery, the surgeon repaired a rotor cuff and placed a screw. How can this patient perform yoga?
Um, Great question. This will be hard for me to give you a specific answer, but I hope, I would think that probably your surgeon prescribed PT. So if not, I would ask for a referral to a physical therapist. It's a little hard for me to give you specific answers without sort of knowing a little bit more about your history. But physical therapists are magicians. And something that they incorporate a lot are the stretchy bands. So I would guess with a rotator cuff repair, you're probably going to be doing a lot of this kind of stuff. And you might use a resistance band to help strengthen that. I think that that will be your first order of business. Secondarily, just sort of broad strokes. Your doctor, your surgeon, your orthopedist should be able to tell you whether you can bear weight on that arm or on both hands. And if you can't, if you're not bearing weight on those arms, then this chair series is great for you. So you might have to modify, you might not be able to reach up overhead as much, but if you're able to anchor through the pelvis, you can still sort of work on mobilizing that shoulder. But you'll notice we weren't on our hands at all in this whole series. So as you're kind of going through your PT practice to strengthen that shoulder and get it back to, back up to par, this chair series should be perfectly safe for you. I hope that answers. I know that didn't answer anything. Was
Thank
that
you.
helpful? We can chat after if you want. Congratulations on your surgery. And even moving into the standing series, we are not going to have anything weight bearing on the arms. So you'll just be using your hands to kind of help you with balance. So again, even with a shoulder surgery, I might have to reconfigure my camera here. This should all feel pretty safe and comfortable for you. Thank you for your question. I love questions. All right, let's try this. See if I haven't cut my head off. All right, so this chair can still be your friend here. I'm going to start with this chair up front because you can use it for support. You can use it for balance, or as I like to say, use it for emotional support. Here's the great thing about standing, and I know depending on your work setup, depending on where you are, you may not always feel that you can just get up to stand and start doing a yoga practice or start exercising. But we've changed our orientation to gravity, which means we're in a more weight-bearing position for the legs, and we can also start to incorporate some balance elements. But let's sort of quickly review. Man, time flies when you're having fun. So we started our chair series with a seated cat-cow. Let's make that a standing cat-cow. I'll turn sideways so you can see a little bit better. Fingers interlace. I'll flip my palms up to the ceiling, deep breath in. There's a little back bend here. This is my inhale. Exhale, palms towards myself, knuckles forward as I round the spine. Notice I'm bending my knees a little bit so I feel less locked up in the low back. Palms forward, inhale, lift up. Exhale, palms towards your chest, round the spine. Let's just do that one more time. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, palms to spine, or palms to chest. Good. Inhale, reach all the way up. Let's keep those fingers interlaced for your side bend. Soften your knees. Keep your hips square towards the front of your mat or towards the back of your chair. Take a side bend to the right. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, side bend left. Let's do each side one more time. Exhale, side bend right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend left. Inhale, lift. Separate your hands. Let's take one more standing back bend here. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right, we did our back bends and our forward bends, and our side bend. So let's take a little twist here. Bring your left hand to the chair. You could even bring your hips all the way up to the chair to help you keep your hips square. So when we twist, we want the pelvis to stay centered, and we want to twist from the navel up. So you can use your hand, use the chair for feedback, keep your hips square, but turn your right shoulder over your right hip. You might circle your right arm back behind you, rotate that right hip forward. Inhale, come back to center, reset, pelvis forward, circle your left arm up and back. Inhale, come back up and forward. Perfect. All right. Excellent work. Okay, I'm gonna skip some of this so we can make it all the way down to the floor. So chair pose. We did chair pose in the chair. Let's do chair pose out of the chair. I like to start with my hands at my heart. Turn sideways, so I want you to see I'm in my normal upright posture, neutral spine. I'm gonna keep that as I bend at the knees and at the hips, and I just sit back. So I'm not arching too much through the low back. I'm not rounding through the low back. It's my normal neutral spine. I love a good chair pose with my hands at my heart because that sort of takes my neck and shoulders out of the equation. Classic yogi chair pose is arms up, but you could really do anything you want here with your arms. Goalpost arms are great. Little bird wings behind you can activate the triceps. Chair pose is everybody's favorite. Let's take 2 more breaths here. I'm going to bring my hands back to my heart. Maybe you're feeling warm through the legs. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Stand all the way up. Pedal out the feet. Good work. Okay. Warrior 2 series. We did this in the chair. I'll face you. I'm going to step my feet wide apart, pretty wide, like 2.5 times my shoulder width. I'll angle my left toes in just a little bit, turn my right toes all the way out, hips stay level, arms reach long, ears, shoulders, hips stay stacked as I bend that right knee. Again, same rules here. If I feel locked up, palms up, elbows bend. Let's flow this chair pose or this warrior just a little bit. Inhale, reach up, straighten the right leg. Exhale, lunge. Let's do it just 2 more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lunge. 1 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lunge. We did a reverse warrior in the chair. Let's do it here. Left hand, left hip, right arm up and back. Inhale. And side angle. Right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches up and over. Good. Inhale, come back to your warrior 2. Straighten that right leg, turn your feet parallel. Good, let's try it on the other side. Right toes turn in, left toes turn all the way out, hips are level, ears, shoulders, hips stack. Bend that left knee, arms long. Sort of stabilize yourself in the pose here. Feel grounded, feel rooted. Flip your palms up, inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. 2 more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. 1 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lunge. Right hand, right hip. Inhale, reverse warrior. Left forearm, left thigh. Right arm up over your ear. Inhale back to your warrior 2. And now it should feel pretty good to straighten that leg. Beautiful work. Turn your feet parallel. Step or hop your feet together. Pedal them out. And let's talk about our parallel lunge. So again, you can use the chair for support. Feet hip width. So my heels are right underneath my hips. I step my left foot back and I bend the right knee. So press that left heel back. Again, if your hip flexor feels really tight and straightening the leg is bringing you into a back bend, bend the knee a little bit. You can use the chair for balance. Otherwise, see how it feels to reach both arms up. And let's hold here just for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. All right, I know that front leg is probably getting a little bit tired, but reach your left arm forward towards the chair. Circle your right arm back behind you. Let's find that twist. Reach your right arm back as the left hand reaches forward. And then come back to center. Stand up, shake out the legs. Perfect. Let's try that one more time. Feet are hip width. Left foot stays planted. Right foot slides straight back. I like to keep the feet hip width or even a little bit wider as you split the legs apart so that you feel a little better balanced. Spine is tall, chest is open. Use your chair or inhale, reach up. Strong through the glutes, strong through the legs, tall through the spine. Let's take one more inhale here. Right into your twist, right hand forward. You can just reach it directly forward or to the back of your chair. Open up for your twist. Hug that left thigh in as you reach back with your left arm. Good. And come back up to center, step into the left foot. Close your feet up, shake out the legs. Beautiful work, friends. Okay. Coming into a balance here, since we did a seated figure four, there's lots of stuff we can do with the balance. I really like to circle out the hips. So that's a nice thing that you can kind of do if you're just getting up to move around a little bit. Circle out the hips, move them through our range of motion. But because we did a seated figure four, let's do a standing figure four. This will be a standing balance pose, but you can use your chair. Pick your right foot up, flex it, cross your right ankle over your left knee, and sit your hips back. Exact same pose we did while we were sitting down. Chair is there to be your emotional support, but you can also bring your hands together at your heart, fix your gaze, find something to look at that's not moving. And then help yourself back up. We'll do the other side. Left foot up, flex the foot, left ankle over knee, sit back. Spine is tall. So again, notice I'm trying not to round my spine. It's kind of hard to overarch here, but that if you even think about arching, it'll help you into that neutral spine a little more. And then come on up, stand all the way up. Excellent work, yogis. All right, you might choose to stay in your chair as I bring you down to the floor just for our last couple of minutes. We won't maybe make it through all of this, but we can talk about a couple things. One of which is, and we were just talking about this with our shoulder surgery friend, this might be contraindicated for you, but I recommend anybody who feels like they can safely do it to come into a plank. Plank, like chair pose, everybody's favorite, but it's a perfect opportunity to build your core strength in a position that is neutral for the spine, right? So when we do crunches and bicycles and all that sort of classic core work, you're bringing your spine into flexion. But in a plank, you're building your core strength with your spine in your natural, neutral, upright posture. So kneecaps are lifted, heels are pressing back, crown of the head and the heart reach forward. Let's hold here for 4. You can see me shaking. I'm trying to talk as I do this. 3, 2, and last one, knees down. We'll come on up to hands and knees. We did a seated cat-cow and a standing cat-cow, so let's do a classic cat-cow. Inhale is your cow, that's the back bend. Exhale is your Halloween cat. This is where my headphones always fall out. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. 1 more. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, come back to neutral. Let's go ahead and take a seated position. I'm gonna change my plan just a little bit because I wanna make sure I get you out of here on time. So let's come into a comfortable seated position. You might be cross-legged, you might be back up in your chair. Wherever you are is great. If you have a yoga block, you might wanna sit on it. Sit up nice and tall. We'll do 1 more twist here. Inhale, reach up. Tall through the spine, anchor through the pelvis. Left fingertips over to your right knee. Gentle twist right. And one more inhale, reach up. Exhale, right fingertips to your left knee, gentle twist to the left. Inhale, back to center, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands together at your heart, or you can rest them down on your thighs. Feel a sense of levity here. Feel grounded through the pelvis, but tall and light through the spine. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Return your awareness to your breath, right back where we started. Comfortable, tall seat, eyes closed, attention to the breath. And then maybe take a quick body scan again. Without judgment, without any effort to correct it. How do you feel? What do you feel? Where do you feel? Let's take one big deep breath in together. Inhale, reach up. Open mouth, exhale. Hands back together at your heart. Breathe in and out through the nose. Softly let your eyes open. Excellent work, yogis. I want to thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I have time for questions. I always have time for your questions, but I know Lee might want to wrap us up. But I'm here for you if you have any questions for me. And I want to thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, my friends. Namaste.
Thank you so much,
How are we?
Jenny. We have
Thank you. How
we
are we
do have
feeling?
a question. For somebody who is newly getting into yoga, do you recommend that they start with chair yoga, or can they get right into standing yoga? What's the procedure for somebody who may be newly getting into yoga?
If you're brand new to yoga and you are physically able, if you've been cleared by your physician for exercise, and you don't have an injury that you're rehabbing, or if you're pretty much like fully medically cleared, then I'd go right to your yoga mat. And there is no shortage of resources for beginner yogis, especially now, in the digital age and the quarantine age. There's so much digital content. So all you really need is a mat. Start with that. Eventually, it's nice to sort of get some other props like blocks, straps. Those are the main two. There's like so many yoga toys you can buy, but I would say you can get right into it. Chair yoga is really, really handy for people with mobility issues. A lot of our seniors who just kind of have a hard time getting up and down off the floor, people rehabbing an injury, people who need a little bit more support. We recommend chair yoga more for them. And of course, chair yoga is also great for anybody because you can do it at your desk, right? It's an easy way to get a kind of 5-minute stretch break in. So chair yoga has a lot of value for us, but I think if you can get up and down off the floor pretty easily, get right on your mat. That would be my suggestion.
And
any other questions?
Sure. For someone who is, again, newly getting into yoga, what should they look for in a trainer? Is there a certain way to know if that person is qualified, if they're certified? What should someone look for when they're looking for a trainer?
Great question. Boy, we could talk about this all day. So kind of the standard, and it's a little controversial because it's not really a certifying body, but the one kind of standard that we have is Yoga Alliance, which asks for a minimum of 200 hours of training. So a typical first step into your yoga training is 200 hours. So that person might have, it might say RYT 200. That means registered yoga teacher at the 200-hour level. Sometimes it says RYT 500 or RYT 1000. So that's kind of especially if you're looking for a yoga teacher. There are some personal trainers and other fitness instructors who can teach you some yoga. And if they have a really good knowledge of the body, then that's fine, especially if you want that person to kind of teach you other things, other kinds of exercise, personal training, weight training. But if you really want to do yoga, you want to find somebody who has done at least 200 hours of Yoga Alliance approved training. Like I said, that's a little controversial, so there's a little bit more to talk about there, but that's kind of the short answer.
Thank you. And I'd like to read a comment that somebody left that says, "Thank you for your time and the wonderful stretching exercises. I could
Oh.
feel relief through every painful stretch."
Oh, that makes me so happy. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me and for going on this journey with me. I'm
And
happy I could
Jenny,
help.
and do you do you teach yoga classes? So if somebody that's listening to the webinar would be interested in reaching out to you, do you have other yoga classes that you do online? And how would someone get in touch with you?
Yes, and yes. I do have one yoga class that's a public class that I teach weekly. That's on Wednesdays at 12 o'clock Chicago time, 12 o'clock Central. It's a 45-minute class. It's usually kind of a higher energy class, but you know, you can always just tune in and check it out and see how it feels. But the best way to kind of get in touch with me is my website is jennyfinkelyoga.com. My name is Jenny Finkel, so jennyfinkelyoga.com. And my email address, super simple, jennyfinkel@gmail.com. JennyFinkel@gmail.com. You can reach out to me anytime. And I love questions too. As you can tell, I could talk about this all day. Kind of a chatterbox. So questions, you can email me at any time if you have questions about anything.
Great. And thank you. And if anyone didn't get that information, please feel free to reach out to the foundation and we can get you connected with Jenny. So thank you so much, Jenny, for sharing your
Thank
time
you
and
so
your
much.
expertise with all of us today. And if you'd like to watch this webinar again at a later time, it will be available on our website within 2 to 3 business days. If you have any questions or you'd like to get in touch with Jenny, please feel free to email us at help@aamds.org. You can reach us on our helpline, which is 800-747-2820, extension 2, or you can reach out to us on our Facebook page. On behalf of the Aplastic Anemia and MDS International Foundation, thank you for joining us today, making us your resource of choice for information on bone marrow failure diseases. The AAMDSIF Medical Advisory Board and team are here to support you and your family as we have done for the past 36 years. This concludes our program today. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you all so much for joining me. Happy holidays.
Take care, you too.
Bye.